Okay, folks, so markets turning very explosive all of a sudden. Dow up, S&P up, NASDAQ up over 2%. If you look at the S&P, you're testing a breakout over what was a previous mini bull trap. You look at growth tech, many of our favorite companies saw inflows over the last couple of days. Today was a very good taste of how growth tech tends to trade. They're the biggest to get beat down during scary conditions, and they're the fastest to go up during opportune conditions. High beta, aka high volatility, goes in both ways, right? Which is why I'm such a big proponent of having a wish list of your favorite stocks to dip by during periods of time where they get massively undervalued. And then making sure to sell them out when they get massively overvalued again. Now, we certainly have a long way to go in terms of the growth tech sector, don't get me wrong, and we're definitely not out of the woods yet. Far from it. We may be out of the Cathy woods, but we're not out of the woods. In the short run, we'll see where we are tomorrow in terms of the CPI report that's coming out. Is inflationary pressure picking up, and has the market already factored that in or not? We'll see. But anyways, in today's video, I actually want to talk to you about the SHIB, why it's running, what you need to know about it, and my projections moving forward. I think you're going to be very, very interested to hear what I have to say about this. So, in the last week of trading, the holy SHIB is up about 58%, which has outpaced Bitcoin by about 3x, as well as Ethereum by about the same amount. When we covered SHIB before the big crypto winter, and really everything winter, well, one of the issues that we did point out with SHIB is that the typical holding time was very, very low, which meant that a lot of people aren't holding with conviction and are rather trading the momentum. Obviously, that's because a lot of the buyers were new, but still, you have that dynamic where if a lot of buyers are new, they haven't had much testing, and thus it's very, very difficult to predict what they're going to do if things start going south. However, now SHIB's typical holding time is 77 days. Compare that to Ethereum at 76 days and Bitcoin sitting a bit higher at 95 days. And all of a sudden it's like, wow, things have changed a lot from when you had a typical holding time at just 11 days. Nowadays, not only is your typical holding time so much greater, but now the people that are still in this are ones that have weathered insane volatility over the last couple of months. If they didn't sell with a massive downtrend, we know that they're very weathered holders. Holders that aren't going to be easily swayed by future fluctuations either. Versus back then, you had a lot of people that were easily swayed by fluctuations. You look over at the scale of those holding SHIB positions that are profitable and those who are unprofitable, and it's a very, very telling situation of right now. Despite volatility, 52% of addresses are in the money right now, aka profitable, whereas only 30% are out of the money and the rest are at about break even. This is so important to understand. Cryptos and really any asset tend to be held up largely by the number of people that are in that asset that are holding profitably. Psychologically, people who have held through this kind of downtrend and are still profitable are much, much less likely to sell. Think about it, if you're just losing the house's money and you're still profitable on your original capital invested, well, you're now much less incentivized to sell. But when you start losing your original capital, that's when it starts getting murky. That's when you start feeling, okay, hey, maybe it's time to start walking away. Ouch! So the fact that 52% are still profitable is a huge level of support, and that's what's held the SHIB up so well. And even on the flip side, I mean, a counter argument, the 30% who have lost money have weathered so much of a downturn that it's almost like what's going to motivate them to sell at this point. Now, one of the things that I projected back in the fall with the SHIB was that you'd find a level of support, but it would be a little bit higher. I thought it'd be in the 30s. I didn't see the massive, massive crypto winter coming and the overall risk-off environment coming, but I did think when push came to shove, it'd be in the 30s. I was wrong. It actually ended up in the 20s. I'm referring to 40 and 20s, of course. But overall, I mean, a lot of people thought this would go down to nothing in a big risk-off environment where Bitcoin plunged and all the big dogs plunged. But overall, it certainly has had staying power, and it's a huge testament to folks who are enthusiastic about this. The market cap has gone from recent lows of 11 billion to now bouncing back to 18 billion within no time at all. Of course, SHIB has had many other periods of fake bull traps in its overall downtrend, but arguably what differentiates this time is it's one of the most pronounced reversals we've had in search interest since the original peaks in fall, which looks significantly more pronounced on a 30-day outlook. Quite interesting because if you look at the overall search interest for crypto as a whole, it's showing very, very little interest. Of course, it tends to be the case that people are only interested in crypto when they think there's a chance of fast returns. Otherwise, they kind of step back and sell all their positions and wait for the next cycle. And if it's a down cycle, the interest just slowly bleeds. But with the SHIB, if you're looking at search interest trends right now, you're starting to get those same crowds that anticipate fast returns starting to show more and more interest in this, which could create a self-fulfilling prophecy if they start buying in, causing more crowds to start looking at it and saying, okay, hey, momentum's coming back, time to buy. Momentum is something that slowly builds over time. You get an attempt at a reversal, and then you get another breakout, and then you get another breakout, and all of a sudden you start getting more and more momentum traders in, and then you get the weakest, latest stage momentum traders in, and they come in all at once, and you get this massive, massive rally. Right now we're at a test of some of the early breakouts, so we'll see if this continues. But let's talk about why this is running right now. One of the biggest catalysts right now is is SHIB's entrance into the metaverse. ShibaSwap.com put out a piece on the value of a potential Shiba Inu metaverse codenamed the Shibverse. They said some of the biggest metaverse platforms for introducing virtual real estate are Sandbox and Decentraland. We understand the potential, expandability, and performing evolution that this type of metaverse option brings to the community. We are happy to announce and proudly introduce Shiba Lands. These lands found inside our metaverse will be available for purchase/auction really soon, and it will be our first step towards allowing the community to jump into the metaverse prior to its full release. They said they are building a queue system to make this happen. This queue allows exclusivity by requiring interested parties to hold leash, which gives priority and exclusive access to this first selling phase of the land plots in our metaverse. So essentially what they are saying is the more leash you buy, the higher up in the queue you will be to get some of the first lands in the Shibaverse. Now the reason this is relevant is because the interest has actually been quite intense. Leash is up nearly 50% in the last 24 hours, which means a lot of people are buying leash and showing a lot of interest to enter this queue because they want to get priority and exclusive access to the first selling phase of course, land plots in the metaverse, which of course has been extrapolated to be seen as a further indication that SHIB as a whole has a lot of big money interest, at least lots of retail traders that compound together to be big money, as well as institutional players on the sidelines that have just been simply waiting for an opportunity to strike. We could talk all day about whether you think dog coins or virtual land or any of these things have any real world utility or even future digital utility in a metaverse type of world, but I do think that that's kind of missing the point. This is more about culture, community, and attention more than anything else. And what is special about SHIB versus something like a Dogecoin? The SHIB project has done a very, very good job at putting effort in to stay relevant. Hopping on the metaverse trend, although arguably somewhat late, if they did this back in the fall, SHIB would have probably doubled. But at least hopping on trends is a very big way to hear out the people that are actually buying the SHIB and make their currency continue to be relevant. And who knows, maybe one day we'll have to choose between a Shibaverse and a Zuckerberg-verse, and I'd much rather go with the SHIBs in that situation. But I think that on a practical level, when you're speculating on whether or not this is going to continue its reversal, you have to take a look at the loud actions that are being taken to keep SHIB relevant and in the spotlight. And so far, they've been very, very successful, at least as of late. In 2022, you've been in a massive, massive bear market for anything meme-related. But the SHIB has managed to hold its dedicated SHIB army despite the massive worst cycle yet. I also think that there's a lot of retail momentum traders that really enjoyed the rush and adrenaline of the meme rallies of 2021. They love that feeling of the potential of something going up 200, 300, 400% in a day, and you quite simply haven't had those types of opportunities for a long time. I think SHIB is an example that capital is still out there. It's just looking for the right bull trend and momentum trend to trust and start pouring into. Again, we could talk about whether that capital could be better placed buying high conviction plays or not, but hey, I'm not against a certain level of your capital being used for momentum trades, even if they are speculative. You could have a little bit of fun as long as you have some self-control, right? And I think the SHIB is one of those examples of a few meme setups right now that are looking very, very healthy. And if they continue to show health, I wouldn't be surprised if that sideline spec capital comes right back in and starts playing these movements, causing more of them. The other layer to this is the squeeze layer, which is something that we haven't really seen play out with the SHIB before. The Motley Fool had an actually nice piece on this the other day. They said derivative-linked liquidations, this time on bets mainly against Shiba Inu, have once again driven volatility, this time positively for this meme token. Recent reports suggest that forced liquidations cost traders nearly $10 million. Approximately 3/4 of all SHIB futures were short as of the past 24 hours as short positions got liquidated. Forced buying drives up the price of a given token, often creating squeeze-like atmospheres. Now, obviously, the business of short selling retail assets is very, very lucrative. Short sellers know that retail traders are statistically the demographic that are least likely to understand what they're buying, least likely to have any conviction in what they're buying, most likely to sell at the first sign of panic, and most likely to repeat their mistakes over and over again. And obviously, those characteristics tend to be more exaggerated in currencies like meme tokens that are named after dogs, because that's almost entirely crowd and momentum based. To a short seller, they probably look at a meme coin dropping fast and think, oh, there's no inherent value to this, so it's an easy short. But meme armies don't go based on intrinsic value, right? They invest in their confidence that culture will bring them returns down the road. I think partially that's as a gag because LOL, meme coin. But I also think that when meme coins perform, it creates a level of long-term loyalty in the holders of said meme coin. And with the SHIB, it punched short sellers in the damn face. Their cheeks are bright red. Obviously, we can anticipate that the short selling situation will only get worse course, if Shiba continues to get more and more inflows. Now, the other thing that I do want to talk about is the state of SHIB token burning. So the CEO of crypto label Bigger Entertainment tweeted back on February 2nd that if a certain amount of SHIB army pitch in $5, they'll burn 1 billion SHIB in their largest burn party ever slated for Valentine's Day, which of course is Monday. What also happens on Monday, actually Monday night, is the coupon code for ZipTrader U, Valentine, expires, so make sure to hit that link below if you haven't already. Spice up your Valentine's Day with some analysis education and private chat, daily morning briefings, and price target lists. But shameless plug aside, they're going to have a SHIB burn party on Monday. And it doesn't appear that they've hit their goal for 1 billion SHIB being burned. So far, the burn pot is 194 million. And look, to be honest with you, I've never really understood the excitement behind these burn parties. I mean, even if you burn 10 billion SHIB, it's not that big of a deal. The circulating supply is like 549 trillion. But at the end of the day, it does create an event for people who are enthusiastic about SHIB to gather, and it creates a lot of media attention. It is something that keeps interest alive in fans. Honestly, it also kind of blows my mind that people would donate to companies in order to burn SHIB for them. I don't know why people don't just burn it themselves. But hey, maybe that's part of the fun. I don't know. Lastly, just to show some funny enthusiasm, as of February 3rd, a Shiba Inu themed restaurant has opened its doors. The blockchain-based burger joint fast food restaurant is now open, and it is called Rallies. They naturally accept SHIB as a form of payment. Of course, I had to go and look up the Google images for you, and sure enough, you got a Shiba-themed food place. It says, "Here I am Ryoshi, we eat welly." Ryoshi, presumably referring to one of the main founders of the SHIB project. Kind of looks pretty damn tasty, to be honest. And of course, they sport hashtag SHIB Army in their marketing. People out there that think that SHIB is going to get so much attention in the future that they're willing to build businesses on it. Now there's headlines popping up saying that this SHIB-themed restaurant is ready to expand globally. And you've got people on Twitter speculating that SHIB restaurants are going to be the next McDonald's. I mean, this is how you create insane attention through arguably somewhat ridiculous, but also very entertaining hype. And that's kind of the cultures of memes. People look at this hype and they think it's entertaining, so they spread it and they kind of go along with it in the back of their mind knowing that it's ridiculous, but also in the back of their mind knowing that, hey, if it's ridiculous enough and it gets enough attention, it might actually happen. It's fun and entertaining speculation at its finest. So anyways, a lot going on with the SHIB right now, and we'll see if the hype manages to continue. From a TA perspective, I generally tend to look at previous failed bull trap heights as levels to pass to get healthier breakouts. And the next critical level to break is that December 23rd to 24th height. You break that, you bring in the next level of momentum traders. Anyways, folks, that caps off this video. Let me know what you think about the SHIB down below. If you are looking to learn how to trade and analyze stocks, we are having our biggest sale since Black Friday. Coupon code Valentine will get you a very sizable discount off ZipTrader U before checkout. Make sure to check out the link below and read a little bit about it to learn what you will get lifetime access to if you do sign up with us before Monday night when that coupon code expires. And of course, make sure to hit that ravishing like button and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day.